What is a thesis statement? Well, thesis statements articulate an informed opinion based on objective, scholarly research. It's a single sentence that answers your research question, and it's composed of two parts, a claim and an organizing principle. Now, sometimes you don't always start with a research question. Professors give you prompts that they want you to answer or address, and they don't always come in the form of a question. So, for instance, if your professor were to say, compare and contrast waffles and pancakes, that is a statement, that's not a question. But we can easily turn this into a research question. What do consumers prefer, waffles or pancakes? And then the answer will be your thesis statement. So once you've gone to the library, you've downloaded your journal articles, you've looked up different books or websites, then you craft your thesis statement. Once you have your research and you come up with an answer to this question, you want to start composing your thesis statement. And a thesis statement is composed of two parts, a claim, and the claim is the phrase that directly answers your research question and the assignment prompt. And then you have your organizing principle, and that's going to be those reasons or the topics in your paper that answer the why question. Why is your claim true? How do we know this to be a fact? And so this is where those reasons come in. Now, the organizing principle can have one reason, it can have three, it can have a few more, and it really just depends on the length and the complexity of your assignment and your topic. So know that this is flexible. I just picked three because that helps with the 5-paragraph essay model. But the important thing to keep in mind is that the order in which you list your reasons in the organizing principle is the same order that you need to address them in your paper. So let's go back to our example. Our prompt was, compare and contrast waffles to pancakes. So our research question then became, what do consumers prefer, waffles or pancakes? And so an example thesis statement we could use would be, consumers prefer waffles to pancakes because of their density, texture, and flavor. Now this is a single sentence, but it carries a lot of information. Again, we have our claim, and this is the phrase that directly answers the prompt. Consumers prefer waffles to pancakes. Why? Well, here's my organizing principle. These are the supporting points, the reasons that I'm going to then unpack throughout the rest of my paper. And this is the organizing principle for the order in which I talk about them. So I'm going to talk about density first, then texture, followed by flavor. And again, depending on the word count and the complexity of your topic, I may talk about these three reasons in one paragraph each or one section each with multiple paragraphs addressing density, texture, and flavor. Now, students always ask me, do I have to have a thesis statement for everything? And the answer is yes. Academic work is thesis driven. Therefore, you should always include a thesis statement in your assignments that require research. So like discussion posts, essays, and research papers. You may not necessarily need a specific research-driven thesis statement for a narrative essay, creative pieces, or reflection essays. Those do require unifying things, but that's not what we're talking about today. So in the context of research, yes, you always need a thesis statement. Now, once we've composed the thesis statement, we need a place to put it. So traditionally, the thesis statement appears as the last sentence of an introductory paragraph. So you would use the first sentence as the hook, then you use several other sentences to then contextualize the topic you're talking about, and then you end with that clear thesis statement to then set up the rest of your paper where you go into the details of your organizing principle. Now, you don't always have the word count to do that, so shorter assignments like discussion posts may require you to begin the first paragraph with the thesis statement so you can conserve some of that word count. So if you don't always have time or space for that beautiful introductory paragraph, just hit the ground running, start with your thesis statement, and then use the rest of your word count to then go through your research and support it. Thesis statements will vary depending on the length and the complexity of the assignment, like I mentioned before, but the fundamentals of thesis statements remain the same. You need a claim and an organizing principle. So if you need assistance crafting a thesis statement, you can always call or schedule an appointment with a writing coach through the University Writing Lab, and our contact information is below.